It was a gray Tuesday morning in late October, the kind of day when the clouds seemed to press down on the roof of my old Victorian house. I had lived here alone for nearly 12 years now, ever since Harold passed away. The rooms had learned to keep my secrets, and the silence had become my closest companion. I was in my bedroom, folding laundry by the window, wearing nothing but an oversized, well-worn robe loosely tied at the waist. The heater hummed softly, but the air still had that autumn bite to it. My hair was pulled back carelessly, and I wasn't expecting anyone. The thought of visitors felt as distant as summer. That's when the knock came. 3 light raps against the door, polite but insistent. I froze. My first instinct was to pretend I wasn't home, but curiosity got the better of me. With a reluctant sigh, I pulled the robe tighter and shuffled to the door. When I opened it, there stood a woman about my age, maybe a touch younger, holding a small box wrapped in brown paper. She smiled warmly, though there was a flicker of nervousness in her eyes. "Margaret?" she asked softly. "Yes," I replied, wary but intrigued. I'm sorry to show up unannounced. My name is Ellen. I believe you knew my sister, Clara." At the mention of Clara's name, the air seemed to shift. Memories flooded back. Afternoons spent drinking tea in Clara's sunroom, the two of us laughing until we cried. Clara had been my closest friend in my 40s, but life pulled us apart, and I hadn't heard from her in years. "I knew Clara very well," I said slowly. "How is she?" Ellen's expression softened, but her eyes clouded with sadness. "She passed away 3 months ago. I found this among her things. She asked me to give it to you." She held out the box. I took it with trembling hands. The paper felt fragile, as if it might crumble if I held it too tightly. "Thank you," I whispered. Ellen smiled faintly. "She spoke of you often. Said you were the kind of friend who leaves an imprint on a soul." We stood in silence for a moment, the weight of years between us. I invited her inside, not caring anymore that my robe hung loosely and my hair was a mess. We sat in the living room, the box between us. My hands shook as I untied the string and peeled away the paper. Inside was a small wooden frame holding a faded photograph. Me and Clara on the front porch of her old farmhouse, arms around each other, laughing like we had nothing to fear. Behind the photo was a folded letter. I opened it slowly. Clara's handwriting was instantly familiar, looping and graceful. "Dear Margaret, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. Don't be sad. My life was good, and knowing you was one of its brightest lights. I regret that we lost touch, but I never stopped caring for you. Please promise me you won't let the rest of your days slip into silence. There's more laughter waiting for you, more stories to be told. Live them." My vision blurred as tears filled my eyes. I looked up at Ellen, who had her own tears shimmering. "She wanted you to know she loved you," Ellen said softly. We talked for hours that day, about Clara, about our own lives, about how easy it is to let connections fade when you think there's always more time. By the time Ellen left, the sun had broken through the clouds, casting warm light across my porch. I set the photograph on the mantel, where I could see it from anywhere in the room. That night, I didn't turn on the television. I just sat with the quiet, but for the first time in years, it didn't feel heavy. Clara's words stayed with me. "There's more laughter waiting for you." The next morning, I picked up the phone and called an old neighbor I hadn't spoken to in years. It wasn't a grand gesture, but it was a start, a step toward keeping that promise. And deep down, I knew it wouldn't be the last.